Good morning. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. So, I've been blessed this week. I know that God wants to encourage us this week about waiting and trusting on Him because I have confirmation. I think it's for me. And if it blesses only me, if this video is only for me, that's okay. But I had a confirmation that God wants to tell us that we need to keep on having faith in Him because He has our backs and He's never late. Because when Annelies shared her story or her encouragement about the promise keeper and how we, like a child, like a baby, crying and crying for milk or food for the mom, they don't know that you're in the kitchen making the food. They see you walking out, but they have no idea that you are gonna make the food only until you come back with the bottle. That's the same thing with God. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. We don't even know that the milk is just on the last second of warming and it's coming. So since she shared that encouragement, I've been wanting to do my testimony about my job, the waiting time, and just what happened, the worries, the anxiety, the uncertainties, the all those things I wanted to share, but I've been postponing it. But then last week I told myself, okay, this week's video, so it's very long, but I'm gonna do it in two parts. So I told myself Wednesday and Friday it's gonna be Nellie's job testimony. But then this week again, we have two guest blogs. So I've been reaching out to the ladies and say, hey, send me all the logistics and all that. So the first guest blog for today comes, which came in yesterday, Monday. I read it and I'm like, okay, God, thank you. You're confirming this because the title is God is Never Late. I'm like, okay. Remember I did that video on God's sense of humor. And sometimes I get the randomest way of him confirming things. So I'm like, okay, now this is guest blog one. Let's move on. Thank you. Okay, video is coming up. Then I received the second one, and the title is Waiting on God. And I'm like, okay, God, yes, okay. This is it. You want to bless your children today with waiting on you and keeping the faith. So I did pharmacy in Kenya. Then I decided to do public health in Maastricht University. And before that, just before I got into the story, halfway, so in my second year, we were blessed with our daughter, our first one, and her name is Imani Jane. And Imani in Swahili means faith. And so it's one name, Jane. Jane is my mom. God is gracious. So it's a good combination. But we always love to name our children intentionally, with intention and with, knowing that, and it's always about the things that are happening in our lives, that what really pushed us, or what was the word that was keeping us going during that time. And since we got married, we met each other, those are stories for another day, God stories for another day, testimonies. But it's been a time of roller coasters and faith. So it was a perfect name for her. So faith, and my job testimony is about faith. Um, so had her second year, graduated. Roller coaster time in our lives, really. Busy life, busy, very busy. Because I had a student job and I was also studying. That was a bachelor's because I decided to do another one. So I graduated and I decided, okay, let's do a master's before I go straight to looking for jobs. Because, once you start working, you don't want to come back to books again. So I was even more crazier because I found two programs and I wanted to do all of them. I wanted to do both of them. So, and I was accepted. My professors found me crazy, but I always believe that at any certain time or at any season that we are in, God always provides grace that is sufficient for each journey. Because right now, tell me to open a book. I've signed up for many courses right now to do, but I haven't opened any coursework, because the grace that I had those time I was studying, it was for that time and for that assignment. Right now, I might go through another thing, maybe very more difficult, but God provides the grace for that thing. So I decided to do two master programs, two different schedules, two different programs, classes, and all that. At the same time, I had my baby, almost 3 years old, and I decided to tutor the first year students. And I had a student job. So I was cleaning in the morning, 6 to 8 a.m., and then go to my classes, or just clean at 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. So I was never home. When I was home, I was in the study, just eating. Sometimes I would eat in the cafeteria at the school so that I save time and just come, do my study, and sometimes work through the night. So I just shower in the morning. I've been working all night. So I just shower in the morning and leave again. So I was a stranger in my house. My daughter, when some random days when I was free and I went to the daycare to pick her up, she never really knew me. She was crying. But that was temporary. My husband and I decided we were going to do this. So halfway to the masters, like during the internships, like people who were my colleagues, friends and classmates who had gone to internships in various places, some of them were retained, some already started getting job offers, and we were like, yes, this is the study of all studies, and me with two masters, I was like, yes, my CV, let the jobs start coming. Applied for jobs, maybe 100 of them. Some came, feedback came after 3 months, some came after 6 months. But during that time also, I through the via people, like your network, because once you start looking for jobs, you build your network, and they start telling and telling and telling. I had printed my business cards, what I believe in, my contact details and all that. So during conferences, you just go and give them, you just hush them out, you just give them. It was like a factory, really. Sometimes you don't even shake hands with these people, with the CEOs of these companies. You just give it. You just give, because you need to give 10 others. So if you spend your time talking here and talking for many minutes, you miss out on the other companies. So I applied to those, and one time I even got like three high profile interviews at big health organizations, and Ayup and I were like, yes. My husband was like, yes, finally, yes, we've gotten the job of all jobs. Ooh, my wife is now gonna be, I don't know who. Only to come back 1 week later and like, yeah, all those stories you hear. One was, oh, you're overqualified. And here I just wanted an entry level job. I didn't even, I just wanted to get in. But so after that 1 year, I was like, okay, this is not happening. Let's change our strategy. Let's not apply to all these big organizations and all that. Let's apply to Colombia, Nepal, Malawi, all this India, all these countries that you think global health is needed, or public health, let's just say the whole world. I applied to them because my husband was like, you know what, honey, I'm gonna support you. If it's moving, I will also find a job there. My job is pretty, I mean, it's not easy to find, but you can work anywhere. So let's depend on you first getting a job. We'll move. I will take care of the children. I'll take care of the child. So I had the blessing to look for a job anywhere. But nothing happened. So I decided that I'm gonna change my strategy. And I thought, oh, hey, the government of Kenya was actually calling back, graduates, for those people who have studied abroad, to come back and, give back their expertise and all that. I was like, oh, of course, Kenya. I'm gonna get a job in Kenya. Come on. I mean, it's your country, right? Like, I'm Kenyan. I've studied public health, global health, you name it. Like, I will get the job. So I sent about 60 applications to Kenya, and leave alone the ones I got responses after 6 months. These ones I didn't even get. I didn't even get like, oh, we received your application. So in 2015, so 1 year after I graduated, 1.5, so in the summertime, there was a mission trip going to Kenya. That's a story for another day, but my church here goes to a mission trip in Kenya to Nakuru, to my local church in Nakuru, and we are a blessing to them and they are a blessing to us. So it's like a family gathering actually. So that year I didn't have the money to go. I could not afford to go to Kenya. So I decided that what am I going to do? My friends from church, some of them were having bake sales to just raise money. Some of them were, I don't know, cooking and all that, but I can't bake, you know. So I decided there's something I can really do, that's cleaning. So I decided to do a Facebook post that I am cleaning, that I can clean people's houses, because I was already working at a cleaning company right before during my uni time. So this is something I can do, and this is something I'm kind of obsessed with. So I did the post. The post went viral. So I was cleaning like 5 houses in a day. Oh, yes, I was cleaning the whole of Maastricht. I managed to raise a lot of money, which paid for our flight tickets to Kenya and was used for the mission trip and all that, you know, just being a blessing in Kenya and all that. But I always knew that I'll get a fancy job. And you know, back home in Kenya, we dress up for the office, people who dress up for jobs. We like to dress up. So I told myself, okay, Nelly, I decided to act in faith again. Really, whenever it's time to act for faith, I always go crazy. I'm like, this mustard seed, mustard size of a faith that I have, I'm going to put it into action. So I knew the prices here for clothes and business suits were not in my radar of affordability. I mean, I'd gotten a lot of money from cleaning. I could actually buy a couple of things here. But I was like, what if I go to Kenya and I'm just gonna, because in Kenya, there's a lot of secondhand clothes from these big brands. There's actually what is it? A survey or research that was done that according in 2019 that Kenya imported like I think 100,000 tons of second-hand clothes a year. So during the mission trip, I decided that I'm going to, you know, go through the clothes at the market and find my designer clothes, but secondhand. So all the brands you can think of, global brands, big brands, you name it, you find them in this Kenyan market, and many other countries they have that too. So I armed myself with my cleaning loot, the balance from everything, and every evening after the mission trip, I would go through the market clothes, and I bought 3 suitcases of business clothes, suits, catsuits, shirts, everything. I brought them. I washed them when I came back in Dettol, obsessive cleaning again, and I ironed them. I put them in the closet and I prayed. I told God, look, I am ready for the job. I'm ready for that fancy job that you're gonna bless me with. Okay. I continued applying. One interview came and I stood in front of the closet and I said, so which one of you is it gonna be today? Then I picked one and I said, yes, we're gonna get that job. Let's go. Went, nothing happened. Then I said, you know what? I might actually get a job somewhere outside Maastricht. So, you know what? Because I was applying everywhere. How about we start driving? Learn how to drive, because what if I get the job 1 hour from here? The trains and transport system here is it's pretty reliable, but I was like, you know what? Maybe it's about the driving. I need to get a car, because some of the jobs were actually asking, can you drive? Do you have a driving license? So I decided with my cleaning loot again. So I cleaned houses again like crazy, and I subscribed for driving lessons, and I got my license. Got my license, and then I started applying for more jobs, and I was like, okay, God, now I'm ready. You can now bless me with that job, even if it's far away. I am ready for it. But that did not happen. So I was telling God, I'm ready. I was doing something good, so I was acting in faith, but then I was also having control, because me telling God, oh look, now I have my business clothes, I'm ready now. Look, now I have my driving license, I'm ready now. It's acting in faith, but also it's having control. Like, who says that now God needs to bless me with a job that is, you know, 1,000 kilometers away or 100 kilometers away, because I can now drive? So that was a bit of control in there. So that didn't happen. I didn't get most of the jobs I had hoped for. But then halfway through the job process, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna change my perspective. I will just apply to jobs that I see, but I want to spend time with my family, because for 2 years, actually for 4 years when I was studying, I was never there at home, I was busy, 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 and my family was forgetting me. So I told myself, this time that I have now, I'm going to invest and just be home, do the cleaning I can do for various people in Maastricht, which I almost cleaned the whole city. Got amazing friendships from them, which, really enabled me and led me to my job, actually. I continued serving in the church, led Bible studies, took more, serving opportunities, played at home with my child. I don't even do that anymore. I decided to be there for my family, because I never was there. So instead of the worry and the looking and the stress that, oh, when is the job coming, I decided, you know what, I'm going to just be, continue applying, but use this time to spend with my loved ones. Because what if I get that job now? Then I'm gone, These jobs that I'm applying to Switzerland, to Colombia, to Nepal, to India, to Kenya, Malawi, and all that, what if it comes now? Then, it's another roller coaster of me being away. So I did that, and because I was so disappointed, like, even my own country does not want me. That's what you get. Like, first of all, they're calling all the graduates to come back. I apply, and nobody even replies. You get so discouraged. So afterwards, I was cleaning. I applied to 300 jobs, actually, the total. I used to write them down. So one time I was cleaning in one of my friend's houses, which is now a friend. Was a client, but it's a friend now. And I get a job, a call. And, you have applied to so many jobs that you don't even know who is this. Is this the policy program of manager? Is this the, I don't know, public health? It's so many. Then I'm like, huh? Who's that? Then my mind clicks. It's the job I applied 11 p.m. the previous night. I'm like, huh? Because that job was not even a public health related, like indirectly, yes. So you just apply to it because you're like, yeah, I've seen it a couple of times popping up. I know a friend who works there, but yeah, it's one of those you just, let me send it. So I send it, and the next day they call me. And after that, so I was actually vacuuming, and my phone vibrates also. I'm like, who is this? So during my cleaning job, I get a call for my current job. Invited me for an interview, persuaded me, gave me some assignments, and I got the job. I just got the job. And I was just thinking, like, wow, the clothes part worked, but the driving license totally did not work, because I also, the jobs I was applying, in fact, this was the only job I had applied in my city. All the rest were outside because there's nothing for public health here, according to my eyes, you know. Um, so I was applying far, far away, and I really wanted to travel outside also for work. But God decided, you don't need your driving license. You told me you were ready because you have a driving license. So let me tell you that I can give you a job that you don't need to drive. You know, that's his way of shutting down my control issues. Like, oh, God, I have a driving license now. I'm ready. No, I'll give you a job that don't need to drive. In fact, if you drive, you have a lot of stress. You need to cycle to work because it's 15 minutes by the bike or 10. And if you drive, you have to go, you know, the whole city round. So I got blessed with a job that actually brings the world to me, or takes me to the world from the back of my, you know, from my computer, that I'm able to, you know, still be a blessing to my continent, to the hospitals and the health ministries and all that. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a blessing. And I became a blessing just by not actually traveling outside to the world. And I was laughing because I was like, wow, God, you really answer us as a father. And that's the encouragement. Like, He really will answer your need as a father, because He says, if your earthly parents give you bread when you're hungry, you know, they don't give you stone, how much more me as your heavenly Father is able to give you good gifts, you know? So He knew that I wanted to go to the world, but He brought the world to me. He knew that as much as I wanted to travel, I was a bit scared as a mom, you know, with just my husband, with my daughter. And this thing I was most scared of is my daughter's afro hair. So she has mixed hair, but halfway somewhere there's this afro-ness. And I was just thinking, oh, how will my husband manage to all the conditioning and all the combing? So that was my worry, really, out of all. He can cook, he's an amazing dad, but deep down I was worried as a mom, like just my daughter's hair. And God decided, you know what, you don't need to travel the world for a job. I'll bless you right in your city, where I had said that there's no job for me because I was applying everywhere else. So there'll be a part two of this, of what I did while I was waiting and the encouragement in that. But I just wanted to tell you that God gives you the grace you need for the season you are in. And yeah, I think if I start part two now, it will be too long. But yeah, the promise keeper is alive, he's here. And while we wait, he's never too late, you know, and he provides whatever we need. And we just have to keep the faith, really. I know it's been said most of the time, but we just have to keep the faith. So I hope you're encouraged. I've written about this, so I will share if you want. I'll put it also in the description. And yeah, be blessed, and I'll see you on part two of this. Be blessed. Bye.